Good afternoon, one and all. And my cohort Geo is here next to me to help me out. He phoned me up and he said, "What videos are we doing today?" I said, "Let's go double bubble on both." So we're having a little chat on this channel, and then doing a video jointly on the main channel as well, which will both be uploaded today. We were discussing what to discuss, really, and we thought we'd settled on a subject, but then I realised I almost phoned up talkSport earlier because I just wanted a bit of a rant, and we will get on to the subject in hand, which is Moyes has identified no play. Basically, Moyes has been scouting for UEFA, and he hasn't seen anybody he liked in the whole of Europe. He's sat on a continent watching every game. I don't really fancy anyone, but we'll get to that in a minute. But it's something that's just annoyed me. It sort of goes back to the England thing last night. So I was listening to talkSport. I know I shouldn't, but I had the radio on. I've been busy morning. It's Jim White again. And I almost phoned him up, just didn't have enough time. So Jim White's been saying, Harry Kane's had his critics. Where are they now? Where are they now, is what he said. They're eating their words, right? And then he turned around later on, and this is today, he turned around and said, and the critics of Raheem Sterling, we're not hearing much from them at the moment, aren't we? I've got to say, I think Jim White forgets who he is and what he is. The name is talkSport, right? Because anything else is just a blog or a podcast. If it's just him, basically saying, phone up and talk, and here's the number, which they dish out 4 times every hour. Here's the number, but by the way, we don't like your opinion. This is a valid footballing opinion. Harry Kane was playing crap until he scored. And because he scored, Jim White's saying, well, basically, all your opinions before count for nothing. Count for nothing. It's a legitimate football opinion. There's no trolling or anything going on. Basically, Harry Kane looked isolated and he looked unfit. Stop smirking, you, right? Harry Kane looked isolated and he looked unfit. Up until the point he scored, happy days. But it doesn't invalidate everybody else's comments. And what's this thing? Oh, Sterling's critics. Hold on a second. Pep Guardiola didn't think Sterling was in form. I'd like to see him say that. Oh, I bet you're eating your words now, aren't you, Pep? No, he wouldn't. He'd be licking his bum, obviously. Kissing his bum. This is going well. He'd be kissing his bum, saying, oh, Pep, and all the rest of it. It just really annoyed me. It's a case of, only phone up, only praise, only give. Look, Sterling is now the top goal scorer for England, and he deserves to start. Absolutely. He's worked his way into it. But criticism of him before the tournament was valid. Criticism of Harry Kane's contribution to the England team in the past 3 games and a bit last night was valid. There you go. Rant over. That's it, Gio.
Well, Jim White played a blinder on you, didn't he?
Well, he didn't get my 50 pence. I didn't phone up.
Maybe not that. You'll earn your 50 pence on this video.
Absolutely, I've made a blinder on him. Cheers,
yeah, you've done him, really, haven't you? Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Though what Jim White's saying. Let's ignore Jim White for a second. What he's just said, which is, oh well, you can't, like, where's the critics now, kind of thing. I think that's representation of social media today as well, really, because let's say. It's almost like Yarmolenko to some extent. And when Yarmolenko, at the very start of the tournament, Yarmolenko played really well from Ukraine from match day 1. He scored in the first game, I think. If he did it, he might have got the assist, and he scored in the second game against the Netherlands. He cut inside and bent into the top corner. And there were some people on social media, where's all you that want Yarmolenko gone from West? Well, they're still there. They are correct. He's been injured all season. He's turned up for Ukraine, not West Ham. But it's a funny thing. It's a representation of social media. It's something that irks me a little bit because it's always, everything has to be black or white. Either you hate Sterling or you love Sterling. Actually, you can't be somewhere in the middle, which is he's a damn fine player, just out of form, but he's popped up and scored 3 important goals for England at the Euros. That's all there is to it. That's it. And most people, majority of 95% of people at least, give criticism where they think it's valid, and they also give praise where they think it's due. And it's possible to do both. And most people do both, but for some reason it's perceived that it's one or the other. You either have to criticize a player non-stop or you credit a player non-stop. But it's just possible that actually you just call it as you see it on a game-by-game basis, which is you were crap on match day 1, you were crap on match day 2, but you've scored an important goal last night. That's all there is. It doesn't mean you've suddenly played well all tournament. You haven't. You've played well for a portion of the game last night, and that is it. It's a strange thing, isn't it?
I know, but he would rally against social media. He would be critical of social media. He'd be critical of trolls. He is a troll. That's it. And as for Jordan there. Oh, anyway, don't get me started. I started myself. I'm telling you not to get me started. It was me that started this. Okay, let's move on from that. I feel better now, actually. Tell me about David Moyes. Has he basically been watching the Euros like this?
Something like that. Yeah, he's definitely had something going on because he working for UEFA at the Euros is I can't remember what they call them now, technical correspondent or whatever. She's there to look at how the game's evolved. Essentially, he's got to report back on new formations, new tactics, how. Wing backs are probably quite prominent at the Euros this summer. The Netherlands were playing a back three. Denmark have played a back three often. Switzerland played a back three. England played a back three. There's probably something in that. So they've got to report on it. So he's been there at a lot of the games during the Euros and he spoke to the Times and he basically said no one's really impressed him. Said the one pick of the bunch is Lukaku. But what's strange is, Gonzo, he also said there's not been any bits of skill or 25-yard free kicks or anything like that. He was at the Scotland-Czech Republic game. The guy scored from the halfway line. How did you miss that?
Yeah.
So basically, he's not impressed. Moyes is not impressed by players, or he's smoking mirrors and he's written down 3 or 4 players. He's thinking, I might have a look at these a little bit more, but he's not too happy by the sounds of it.
No, I mean that's a tactic I use because the other day. We was at the tills and there was these sweets there we'd never seen before, and the kids said, "Can we get those sweets, please?" And I got the sweets, and they said, "What are they?" And we got in the car, and they said, "What? Okay, can we have one?" I said, "Well, I don't know. See what they're like first." And so I tested one. I said, "Not nice, not nice. Don't want them. Probably poisonous, actually." So I wonder if David Moyes is doing exactly the same thing. Said, "There's no players to see here, like you suggest," and then he's going, "I'll sign him, and I'll sign him." With me, with 10 quid.
See, I'm pretty laid back about it all because I don't think you can judge a player off the back of a tournament. I think it's mental to even think whether you look at a player and think, "Oh, I liked him," but now what I've seen from this tournament, I don't like him anymore. Like we're being told about Alex Kral. But similarly, I don't think you can say, "Well, I don't like that player." However, at the tournament, he's looked fantastic, so I'm going to go buy him now. Tournament football is completely different to club football. Everything's different. The weather, the pace of the game, the officials, just everything. Yarmolenko is one of the best players at Euro 20.
That's
right.
We should sign him.
We own one of the best players. But would you put him back in the West Ham team? No, you wouldn't. So I kind of get what he's trying to do kind of thing. But the window's been open for 3 weeks today. Still quite a while to go. But I think a few people are starting to get a little bit restless. I think they're wanting to see something happen at West Ham, and the answer is nothing. And we've been told you're going to have to wait at least another week because we're not doing anything until the Euros are finished.
That's pretty much what I've been saying to people just generally in life. Anyway, that sort of leads us on to this sort of frustration. We haven't signed anybody yet. To I think Leicester signing Patson Daka for 25 million. So Leicester are clearly doing business and doing it now, but maybe Brendan Rodgers doesn't have an official UEFA peeping Tom role or anything like that at the moment, so he's just busy to free to go and make his signings. Daka was a player that was really fancied by a lot of people. I've not seen much of him play. One thing I do know is he is lightning quick, and I could imagine, I don't know because I've been busy this morning, I imagine people are frustrated that we haven't signed him, so I know a lot of people wanted him. And I look and I think, actually, that's another shrewd signing from Leicester. But I also think he perfectly fits their system because if there is anybody that I've seen that looks like he can replace Jamie Vardy, it's that guy, basically.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's someone I like. Well, I hadn't heard of the French striker we were linked with in January. What was his name again?
Oliver Giroud.
The one that played in France. I can't remember his name. Buami or something, I can't remember. And Mbuya, I don't know. I never heard of him, okay? But I've seen Daka play before because he's played in European football. And I think you're naive not to look at Salzburg as a stepping club. That's where they go before they go to Leipzig. So you can't afford them when they're at Leipzig. So have a look at the club that's feeding them, the players kind of thing. You know, Sadio Mane obviously went to Southampton from there as well. But he is a very good replacement for Jamie Vardy. Leicester looked poor without Vardy. I know Iheanacho stepped up with the goals last season, but Iheanacho was only really scoring goals with Vardy in the team next to him. So Iheanacho needs him. So they've gone and got a very similar player to Jamie Vardy, someone that's young with bundles of potential, scores loads of goals, sets up loads of goals as well. For what could be a bit of a bargain, actually, 25 million. That's fair play money for a sort of proven striker. That is what you get, what you pay for, kind of thing. But then they've got a bit of a bargain there, Leicester. So I can understand some fans. Are you getting worried or frustrated yet? Or are you still pretty chilled about the whole West Ham transfer market thing?
Yeah, I think I'm chilled for the reason that we said that Moyes is away on other business. I think I'm also chilled that there's a distraction there, and I think we often leave it too late. It seems, and a lot of we find ourselves scrambling around on deadline day and look at the Benrahma thing where he didn't even pass his medical and had to do something a bit creative. But I do think for once there's a legitimate excuse, and that is players are either on holiday at the Euros, the scouts are at the Euros, Moyes at the Euros, and let's not forget this is the first time that scouts have, whilst your own staff are allowed in a stadium, and I guess if you were playing, say if West Ham were playing Burnley, for instance, Burnley staff are allowed in the London Stadium and so on and so forth. It's the first opportunity when actually, as a scout, you can just go and say, I want to attend that game, and that game. And as long as you passed your COVID test and all the rest of it, you can legitimately go in. So I think this is the first time for a while that scouts aren't using YouTube and stuff like that. So I can understand that there'd be a little bit of delay. If everybody else had made a signing, everyone had made loads of them, there may be, but there hasn't. I think it's not just West Ham that are waiting for the Euros to be done. So, yeah, I'm pretty chilled. I'm pretty chilled about it. The one thing that does worry me, and it's got nothing to do with it, is I do worry that we're waiting so long on this yay or nay from Lingard. Is that holding us up? Because does that the piece of the jigsaw before all the other pieces fall into place that we need to see? I don't think that has to be the way. I don't think Lingard should be dictating everything else that happens. I understand that Moyes wants him. What I don't want to do is it drags on with Lingard. He's in negotiations with Man U and are they going to Solskjaer? And they're talking. They take another month. By the end of it, he turns around and says, actually, no, I'm not going to bother. And we've missed out on a load of targets because of that. So I want us to make sure that our transfer dealings are so totally separate. If we signing the strikers have nothing to do with the Lingard deal. If Moyes wants a centre back, they have nothing to do with the Lingard deal. I don't want to find out actually we're waiting to do those signings to do the Lingard deal. But I'm more nervous about that than the Euros or anything else.
Yeah, I agree with the Lingard thing actually, because if say Lingard's 20 million, you put 20 million aside for the Lingard thing, you crack on with the rest of it. Because even if you don't get Jesse, you need someone else in there, whether it's Mateus Pereira or a other attacking midfielder for roughly the same fee anyway. So you should be able to put a portion of your budget aside and crack on with the rest. So I'm not so worried about the Euros. I don't really see why that should impact us, because I think you should have your targets done before the end of the season. You should almost know who you're going to go after in the summer prior. Clearly, like Leicester have with Daka, like Aston Villa had with Buendia of Norwich City, they knew exactly who they wanted as soon as the season was done. Right now, we make our move, kind of thing. And what worries me actually more than anything is that we are not in that position. I don't know. Moyes is just, like I said, I am willing to give Moyes the benefit of the doubt here, and that he's keeping his top targets so secret that even the ones that usually know stuff at the club just don't know stuff at this time round. But there is a little bit of me worried that it's a bit like the Benrahma thing. We don't actually have a target. Benrahma wasn't the number one target. We know it was Eze, and then we end up getting side bet. I don't want a repeat of that. And my worry is that we're going to repeat the same thing again this summer, which is we're not sure. We aren't convinced what striker we want, whether it's Tammy Abraham or someone else, or maybe Tammy Abraham is the guy we want, but we don't want to pay the price. So we're just waiting to see if Tammy Abraham's price will come down or what we're going to do, kind of thing. I just worry there's a little bit of lack of decision making on certain targets at the club, kind of thing, because we're being like with big centre backs at the minute, and some of them are 40 million, some are 20 million, some are 10 million. There's a guy a free agent, so which it's just a bit. It's all a little bit funny at the minute, but I'm still relatively calm. But like I said, it depends. If we miss out on the top targets, then it was wrong to wait. But if we go ahead and get our top targets, then we've done the right thing. It just depends if Moyes gets the guys he wants in at the end of the day. Not so much when we get them, but if we get them. Who that is, I don't know. I quite like not knowing, to be honest with you, Gonzo. I quite like this secret thing. But I don't know. There is a little bit of me just a little bit worried. I think it's just because it's West Ham more than anything. And we've got previous for it under David Moyes and under David Sullivan that we can sometimes drag our feet a little bit and shoot ourselves in the foot.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have a maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. Let's have a little, let's have a mug of tea. Let's continue this conversation about how worried we are. There'll be another England match between now and then. Maybe we'll. Actually, no, let's not say that. Let's discuss it. Let's do a mug of tea on Patreon on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, something like that, starting next week, and we discuss this further because I feel we could carry on talking for quite a significant amount of time, knowing us two. Anyway, so we'll bid you farewell there, Geo. Thank you very much, my friend. We're going to go and record the other Doobry What's It Now, right?
We are talk about David Moyes' son joining the backroom staff and who the director of football is likely to be, according to reports.